Good morning. We're ready for a reading lesson today, and we do not have a story, so you don't need your reader book. But you're going to need your work textbook. I had to shut the door, I'm sorry. So we're going to have a skill station day today. It's a pretty easy lesson. We're going to be talking about relevant and irrelevant and learn what that means. So let's look at this list of words right here. Now, pardon me, I need to get my pen ready. Okay, so let's look at this word, this list of words right here. There's one word in each of these columns that does not belong with the others. The word that doesn't belong is related to a different subject or a topic, but the other three words are related to each other. So let's figure out, can you say in this one right here, can you figure out which thing does not belong? Did you say bicycle? That one does not belong, right? Well, why is that? These are all forms of transportation. Why wouldn't the bicycle belong? Because it does not have a motor. These three have a motor. See, to find the common thing among them, and then the one that does not share that. Let's look over here. Which one of these does not belong? Did you say pants? Pants, they don't belong because a jacket, a sweatshirt, and a sweater are all things that you wear on the top of your body, like around your arms and your torso area. These you'd wear on the bottom part of your body, right? Let's look at this. Which one of these here does not belong? Did you say ice cream? Because these are things that you can drink. You can't really, I guess you could technically drink ice cream if you wanted to, but then it wouldn't be ice cream. It would be melted cream, I guess. But the other three are related because they're all three things that you drink, right? Okay, so I'm going to put a word right, let's see. I'm going to put this word right here. Are you ready? Let's see if I can get this word. Let me put another word up here. You know what this word says? Relevant. This says irrelevant. Do you happen to know what these mean? All right. These words, truck, airplane, and car, are all relevant information, right? Because they go together. These are related. So we'd say these are relevant to one another because they're related. This word we would say is irrelevant to these other three because it doesn't have anything in common. Okay, let's look at these. These are all relevant to one another because they mean the same thing. This one is not relevant. It's irrelevant to the rest of these. And the same thing here. I don't know why that's there. So these three are relevant to one another because they have something in common. This is irrelevant to the rest of these because it has nothing in common with that, right? It's an unrelated word. That's exactly right. All right, so whenever you use I don't know if you've ever used an encyclopedia. If you're doing research, you're trying to figure something out. When I was a kid, if I wanted to know something, I couldn't ask Google because Google didn't exist yet. She had not been born, or Siri or whatever. I had to wait and go to school or go home and get the old set of encyclopedias. And I had to look it up and just hope that my word I needed to look up or whatever it was going to be in there. And it's helpful to know, though, when you do look something up, whether it's an encyclopedia or what, it's important to know, it's helpful to know whether information that is given is relevant or irrelevant to your topic. So looking up several relevant entries will give you more information about the topic. So we're gonna do a little bit of practicing with that so that it'll make you a little bit more aware of what I'm saying. For example, if you were doing a report, say on motor transportation, you could find relevant information under truck, airplane, and car, but bicycle would not give you relevant information because it's irrelevant. Okay, so that's what I mean when it's relevant or irrelevant. If you were to write a report on sleds, under what topics do you think you would find relevant information? If you were going to write something about sleds, well, you might look up, let me get my pen here. You could look up, so if you were going to do sleds, what are some relevant pieces of information that you could look up? Oh, you might look up Alaska. That might give you some relevant information because they use sleds there. Oh, and what about huskies? Those beautiful dogs. These would give you relevant information about that. What else? Oh, probably sled dogs. And there's a few more. You could do Canada or Iditarod. I don't know if you're familiar with what the Iditarod is, but anyway, these are some things that you could look up that would give you relevant information about sleds. Now, if you were going to write something about sleds, and could you look up something about tropical rainforests? Of course not. That wouldn't give you any relevant information on what you were looking for. Okay? Now, that's why it's really super important to know what relevant and irrelevant mean. All right, let me show you this picture right here. We're going to look at this. Let me see if I can blow it up just a little bit. You see this picture? This is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Pretty cool, huh? Now, these are soldiers. This picture has the soldiers in there. Do you know where Canada and the Northwest Territories, the Yukon are on a globe? Could you pick it out? I bet I could find one for you. Let's see if we can find it. Whoop. Let's see. Let's see if we can find these places. This looks like a good world map. All right. So, I don't know if I can zoom in somehow. I don't think I can. But this is Canada, right up here. Here's Alaska. Okay. So, the Royal Mounted Canadian Police, they work up here in Canada. Okay. The Northwest Territories and the Yukon are right up here. They're right on the southern part of Canada, the northern part of America. They are, America has states. Canada has territories. And that's what those are, right in this area. So it's all cold up here. So let's go back to our picture here. All right. What's a motto? A motto is a saying or something that expresses what's important to a group, right, of people. All right. So I'm going to read this paragraph to you. It's almost a well-written paragraph, but there's a few problems with it. I want you to see if you can find the problems as I read this, okay? The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, is the national police force in Canada. The Mounted Police was first formed in 1873. The men traveled on horseback through northwestern Canada, keeping peace between the new settlers and the Native Americans. Many Native Americans owned horses too. The Mounted Police also kept order during the Yukon Gold Rush. Today, they make sure that the national laws in Canada are obeyed. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police are known for their scarlet red tunics. The Native Americans considered scarlet a symbol of justice and fair dealing, and they had great respect for those who wore the color. American policemen wear navy blue. This uniform color has remained unchanged over the years, along with the RCMP motto, maintain right. So what's this paragraph about? The Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Exactly. Now, that means that all the sentences in this paragraph, this is actually one big paragraph, all the sentences in this paragraph should be relevant to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, correct? Now, were there any sentences in here that you thought might be irrelevant to the topic? Can you find them? Can you say out loud before I mark them which sentences they may be? Okay, I'm going to mark these sentences and see if you get it right. All right. I don't think I can bring it up though. All right, the first sentence that was irrelevant was this one. Many Native Americans owned horses too. That sentence was not relevant to what this was about, correct? And there's one more and it's over here. Did you find it? American policemen wear navy blue. That sentence is irrelevant to what the topic is. Does that make sense to you? Okay, good deal. All right, so let me go ahead and come back to the screen. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and help you with your work text pages today. So if you'll go ahead and open your work text pages it's page 218 and 219 towards the back of your book because it's a skill station day. All right, on page 218, there's a picture down at the bottom with the sled dogs. Then there's a little box inside of that says relevant information is important to a particular subject. Irrelevant information has no connection or importance to whatever subject it is. All right, so we're going to read this selection about sled dogs, and then when we're finished, we're going to we're just going to cross out the sentences that are irrelevant. Are you ready? Sled dog breeds are excellent at pulling sleds. The most well-known sled dog breeds are the Alaskan Malamute, the Samoyeds, and the Siberian Husky. These breeds are considered part of a larger group of purebred dogs called the working group. But not all working dogs could pull sleds across the snow and ice in the Arctic, the Yukon, and Alaska. The poodle came from Germany. Sled dogs are specially made for the job they do. Their great strength is very valuable. They are large, rugged dogs. Speed and quickness are their greatest assets. These dogs weigh about 40 to 80 pounds and stand 2 feet high at the shoulder. The foxhound is related to the beagle. They have 2 coats of fur, the outer coat and the undercoat. The undercoat of fur allows them to be able to sleep outside in temperatures as low as 70 degrees below zero. Dog sled racing is a very popular sport. The dogs race side by side. For short distances, the teams include 3 to 10 dogs. They travel at a speed of about 20 miles per hour. Long distance racing teams travel 500 to 1,170 miles. The Malamute has a bushy tail. Races last 1 to 2 weeks and require 10 to 20 dogs. The sleds also carry 300 to 600 pounds of food and equipment. Sled dogs are used in other ways too. From 1873 to 1969, sled dogs were used by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for patrolling. In addition to police patrol, sled dogs have been used for mail delivery. Some dogs in Mexico have no fur on their bodies except small bunches on top of their heads. They also make great companions. That's some good information. Now, do you think you could pause this and go back through and find the sentences that are irrelevant and just put a line through them and then turn it back on and I'll see if you get those right. Okay, did you do it? Let's check. So the first one you should have marked out that was not relevant, it was irrelevant, is the poodle came from Germany. Did you mark that out? What about the foxhound is related to the beagle? That's irrelevant. What about the Malamute has a bushy tail? Irrelevant. And some dogs in Mexico have no fur on their bodies except small bunches on top of their heads. That's irrelevant too. Those pieces of information had nothing to do with what the topic of the paragraph, or the not paragraph, but the writing, the article had to do with. So let's look at the next page, on page 219. So we're going to use the information from over here on page 218 to answer these questions over here. And I'm going to have you do this yourself. I may grade you on this one just to make sure that you paid attention to the reading, and you can go back and look in the article as well, okay? All right, so that's going to be all for today. So go ahead and just finish page 200.